My name is Ben Abel. I'm the owner of Abel Organics, which is our farm name. We're farming in Louisville, Kentucky on leased land on River Road near Prospect, Kentucky. This is our first season farming here. We just moved here from Fayette County, where we've been leasing land for the previous 3 years. I consider myself a beginning farmer. I'm an organic farmer. We have grown certified organic produce for the previous 3 years. This year we're moving on to a piece of land that's been in corn and beans for the previous 25 years. And so we're transitioning this land to organic production. It takes 3 years to transition before you can be certified. We've taken a 25 acre, we're leasing 25 acres here. Of that 25 acres, we're cropping about 14 acres. And the remainder we're going to return into native grasslands and native plants, buffer areas and kind of wetland areas to kind of help allow for some buffers, to bring in some native species, some beneficial insects and whatnot, and also to kind of treat the land in a more ecologically sensitive manner. For the last 3 years, we've only been growing sweet potatoes and winter squash, and we chose the produce we were growing because I worked full time. So working full time doesn't really allow you to kind of have a market garden type farm where you grow the full range of produce. We instead decided to grow a very select range of crops, and based on a few parameters. One, that they were storable crops. They were kind of once over harvest crops that we could harvest all at once and store and market over an extended period. And so we did sweet potatoes, acorn squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, etc. for the last 3 years. I was working full-time for UK, managing their horticulture research farm, and I left that position this past winter and started farming full-time. Moving to full-time farming, we were able to expand the product range, doing tomatoes, cucumbers, summer squash, zucchini, bell peppers, colored sweet peppers, and again more sweet potatoes and winter squash. We market the produce through a few different channels. What I call direct wholesale. We sell to distributors in Louisville and Cincinnati that market the product directly to customers through weekly produce basket deliveries, kind of like based off the CSA model. We direct sell to restaurants, we direct sell to some small groceries, and then we sell to some processors that process the product into the butternut squash and sweet potatoes especially. Yeah, so last year we formed a partnership with KHI Foods and the Sustainable Food Alliance to start marketing some butternut squash to a more diverse range of customers. So our butternut squash we'd just been selling to restaurants, groceries, and the distributors. We linked up with KHI. I think Bob Perry at the University of Kentucky is who connected us, I believe, and had some conversations with Mill and Doug, and ended up they wanted to try out the butternut squash, processing it into a product that's more usable for certain types of end users that don't have the kind of kitchen staff or time to process it there at the facility. So we partner with them. We send them butternut squash. They peel it, chop it, dice it, and freeze it, and they send it to the school system. University of Kentucky, Fayette County Public Schools, and other school systems all ended up purchasing a good amount of the product. And last year was kind of a pilot year, 2012. Now 2013, we're kind of expanding it quite a bit and hope to keep moving quite a bit of the butternut squash. Works out great for me because we're able to kind of bulk harvest a large volume and send it to Mill and Doug, and they're able to turn it into a product and get it to a customer that I would otherwise not be able to sell to, because that customer doesn't have the ability to kind of take a raw product. So it allows us to get good, healthy Kentucky-grown produce into a wider range of markets. Farm to school. I really enjoy selling farm to school. I mean, we don't do any direct sales to schools right now, but I know that the product we sell to KHI ends up making its way into the school system. And it's part of our business that I really enjoy doing, I really like to grow. And so by developing a product that kind of meets the school system's needs, their price requirements, their quality requirements, to be able to develop that product here in Kentucky, on Kentucky farm in a sustainably farmed manner, is really exciting to us, because I know I'm helping to contribute to kids being introduced to produce, being introduced to a healthy way of eating, and just at the most basic level, contributing to their nutrition. So it's a very exciting way to market our produce. So as a farmer, I market all my products to kind of outlets that have a focus on local food. That's kind of our niche, I guess I would say, is the local food economy right now. It helps us create a demand for our product. I mean, there's a huge demand for Kentucky-raised produce, for sustainably farmed produce, and so it's really important to me to both be a kind of a vendor supplying that need, but also to be a customer helping to grow that market. And so we're really committed, on our own to sourcing, consuming, and supporting as many Kentucky farmers as possible. Consuming Kentucky-grown produce, meats, cheese, dairy, the full product range now that you can get is amazing. And what we're doing is not just kind of supporting these individual little farms, which is great, and it's great to support our farmers, but in growing this local food economy, we're actually helping to build, economic development is really what we're doing far beyond just the farm gate. I mean, we're partnering with food processors, with food entrepreneurs, with restaurants, and it's really kind of building a whole economy, not just supporting the farm, but creating jobs all over the place. And so it's an exciting movement to be a part of, because I think it's a really important part of our economy right now. I think I face a lot of challenges as a farmer. All farmers face a lot of challenges. It's a tough occupation. You have really high cost, and you have a moderate to low return on your investment, especially when you include time in that investment. I consider myself, I am a beginning farmer. I didn't grow up on a farm. I don't come from a farming background. I don't own land. I didn't inherit equipment. And so there is challenges unique to kind of coming from that aspect and kind of having to build your skill set really from zero by working on other farms, by working with the University of Kentucky, by working with your peers. I'm involved with Community Farm Alliance and their Ag Legacy Initiative, which is kind of a group of beginning farmers throughout the state that we've kind of developed a peer-to-peer network where we kind of create a community of supporters for each other. And that's been really helpful as a beginning farmer. But access to land, access to capital, these are huge challenges for all farmers, but especially beginning farmers. I lucked out in finding this place, connected with a really nice family, Gil and Augusta Holland, who own this farm, and it's been in their family for a really long time. They're interested in seeing it farmed in the long term, so we've worked out a great lease here on this piece of property. Access to capital is very difficult. I've kind of pieced it together year after year, but I've been working full-time during this time of building the business. So now jumping into full-time farming, it is definitely adds a certain degree of stress. And especially with the crops we're growing right now, cash flow is a big issue because we're not doing any early spring crops. So it is a stressful occupation. So one thing that was compelled us to move to Louisville and to start farming on this piece of property was the growing market, the growing demand for local food in Louisville. It's kind of nationally, I think, even kind of seen as an epicenter for a exploding local food economy. Louisville's a big city. It's a very foodie-oriented town, if you want to use that term. I think there's a huge consciousness in Louisville, a huge desire to support our local farms, to support our rural communities in Kentucky. This particular piece of land was exciting to us. When we hooked up with Gil and Augusta, we were very excited about this piece of land because we were essentially farming on the urban fringe. You could take the piece of land we have here and plop it 45 minutes out of town and the land would be the same. But being on the urban fringe, we're about 8 minutes from downtown Louisville where we're at, exposes us to a lot of traffic. It exposes the traffic to us, I guess, more importantly. I would just assume not be exposed to the traffic. But it's exciting to me because you have people, thousands literally of cars driving by every day that are looking out their window and they're seeing a working produce farm. And it's reminding them that they're seeing the methods in which produce is raised. It's reminding them that farmers grow their food, and it's just kind of heightening their awareness of the whole thing. And in doing so, it maybe makes them think a little bit when they head to the grocery, when they head to a restaurant. Makes them think about maybe, hey, is my public school selling, having butternut squash for lunch where my kids go to school, that sort of thing. So it just kind of heightens the consciousness, having this level of exposure. So we enjoy it from that standpoint, and from a practical standpoint, we're 5 minutes from the interstate and 10 minutes from downtown restaurants that we market to. So it's hard to get, when we talk about our food miles and farm to table, it's hard to get much closer to the table than our farm is. So that's a exciting aspect of it as well. We aren't so right now we're not doing any direct school sales to the school system. We're selling to KHI Foods, Sustainable Food Alliance, and then they market some of the processed product to school systems, including Fayette County Schools, University of Kentucky, etc. And that's worked good for us so far. We would be very interested in doing direct sales to schools as well of unprocessed product, of course, if there's a demand for it, and if we can meet their quality and price needs, which I think we certainly can. What would make it easier? I think the bid process does seem very impersonal for such a small volume direct market sale. As opposed to when we talk with chefs, we talk with groceries, we talk about our product. It's about building relationships. And when you aren't able to do that with your customer, it does make it difficult, because if we can't develop those relationships, and that's what's helped make the thing with KHI work good, is we're friendly, we know each other. Hey, that's not quite how we wanted it, let's try it a different way. There's this kind of bounce back and forth, this reciprocation that fine-tunes the product and fine-tunes the effort and gets us where we need to be. And that's what makes the local food economy distinct from our other ways of marketing. So I think we have a unique opportunity with Farm to School to get Kentucky farm products into an institutional market, a high volume institutional market, but do so while maintaining the kind of relationship to the grower that makes this local food economy so relevant, so important to so many people, and so different. And I think that's probably one of the most important things in Farm to School is how do we meet the quantity, the volume, the pricing needs, the kind of the strict guidelines that the institutional buyers need. How do we meet those needs while still maintaining the kind of uniqueness and identity that makes people's desire to buy from local farms so strong? So that's kind of one of the biggest opportunities and one of the biggest risks in this movement, is if we end up kind of institutionalizing the system to the degree that we kind of lose the relationship and lose the connection to the farm, then really we don't have that much different of a product than we do now. We might end up supporting Kentucky farms, which would be better than it is now, but I think it is important to kind of maintain that relationship and all this, and maintain the communicate to the end user where it's from. I think that's what kind of builds pride, I think that's what builds excitement, and I think that's what helps develop this kind of network of relationships that makes this work.